everyone. Welcome to Hot Topic Tuesday on our League of Leaders podcast. I'm Zach Sooty. We have Al Fragnoli and Brandon Gunn. Gentlemen, so typically Hot Topic Tuesday consists of maybe a couple topics. Today, we got a bunch of things to talk about, a lot going on. So let's start with baseball tonight. Al, Salvador Perez has set the record for most home runs in a season by a catcher. How good has this longtime Royal been this year, and what does he mean to this team and organization?
Yeah, Zach, great question to start us off tonight. Love talking baseball all the time, and Salvador Perez has been an absolute joy to watch. You know, we were talking earlier before we started here, and we were just talking about the fact that he kind of seems to fly under the radar, right? He's not a name that everybody always hears about. So he just quietly goes about getting his job done. He's a huge asset to the Kansas City Royals team and to that organization as a whole. He helped win them a World Series several years ago, but he's been with the organization since 2007. He's been on that big league roster since 2011. Just a really, really steady voice in that locker room and a great player to have as a teammate. So kudos to him for breaking the record. And when you think about it, what an incredible feat that is, right? Most home runs by a catcher in major league history in one season. And baseball, as we all know, has been around since the 1800s. So, awesome job by Salvador Perez. And he is a huge part of the Kansas City Royals organization and been a huge part for over a decade. So congratulations to him. Brandon, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you like to see a guy with sustained success like that just, break these records and do great things after flying under the radar. I think that in today's game, catchers aren't necessarily leaned on for their offense too much. So to see him break that record while also having the responsibility of, being there for the pitchers in that staff and helping them out and just catching those games, I think it just goes to show what kind of pro he is to be able to do this for, over a decade. And now he's breaking records, in the home run department. I just think that, it's a great job by him. Kansas City's lucky to have a staple like that as a catcher. It's been fun to watch. And, I look forward to seeing what he does next year to follow it up. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I think it's awesome for Major League Baseball, awesome for Salvador Perez, and it's great for the Kansas City Royals. Like you both said, he's been doing it well over a decade, just performing almost under the radar, unnoticed, like recognized as an all-star and things like that. But to have this breakout power season is awesome. Believe he surpassed Johnny Bench's record. So just an awesome record to break and good for him. So excited about it and happy it happened to Salvador Perez. So congratulations to him. So sticking with baseball, guys, the Red Sox entered the weekend with a 2-game lead over the Yankees for the first wild card spot. The Yankees sweep the Red Sox for the first time at Fenway Park since 2015. The Yankees now have a 1-game lead for the first overall wild card spot, while the Red Sox now hold just a 1-game lead over the Blue Jays for the second wild card spot. The Mariners are hanging in just 2 games out, and the A's are 3 games out. There's a cluster at the top of the wild card. So who do you think ends up locking up these final 2 playoff spots? Let's start with Brant. Are you going to go, Al?
Yeah, why not? I'll go.
I'm excited about this one.
I'm really excited to talk about this one because we're getting into the last week of regular season baseball, which I absolutely love. Then we're going to get straight into postseason. But right now, this week is essentially postseason baseball for these group of teams that you just mentioned. And some of them are going to be playing each other. A's and Mariners start a series together. So, whoever can win 2 out of those 3 are going to probably still have a slim chance. You got to think somebody might even need to sweep to have a chance. But whoever loses that series is obviously going to be done. I don't think the A's really have a chance. They've had a great season, struggled in the second half a little bit, but they're playing the Mariners. And then I believe they got the Astros for 3 to wrap it up. So they probably don't have a chance. The Yankees, I think, are going to probably be locked in there, although you never know because they're going to be playing a series with the Blue Jays who are in the mix as well. So if the Blue Jays go ahead and sweep the Yankees, now you got the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Yankees all right there battling for 2 spots. The Mariners, I don't think are going to have enough to overcome a 2-game deficit with just 6 left to play. So I think it comes down to really the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Red Sox. I think the Red Sox have the easiest path to get there. They could easily win out with the games on their docket remaining here. Not very tough games coming up. So we'll see, but it's going to be an exciting week of baseball for sure. Brandon?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, everybody's got a chance to really make their postseason come to life, with these last few games. And I do think it's going to come down to, I think the Red Sox are going to stay right where they're at in the first wild card spot. And then I think it's going to be between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Whoever wins that series out is next, they're going to get that next wild card. So at very least, it's going to be an awesome series between the Yankees and the Blue Jays to see what happens there. And the Red Sox, I mean, well done to them on a good season. They'd really be choking it away if they didn't lock that up. So, but final week of baseball, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to see how it shakes out. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting weekend of baseball here to end this season. If the Blue Jays win the series against the Yankees, I think it's going to be Blue Jays and Red Sox for the final 2 spots. I think it's that simple. Yankees got a tough series against the Blue Jays. Then they play Tampa Bay, who got 97 wins on the season. That'll be tough. So they definitely have the most difficult road to keep their spot. If the Red Sox lose this, you said it, Brandon, it's their choke artist. They can't lose this. For me, they're in. It's going to be exciting to see the Blue Jays and Yankees and see who pulls that one out. And I think whoever wins that series ultimately will probably get into the playoffs. But Yankees got the Rays, so it could be difficult for them. And if they do make it, they definitely earned it with this last week of baseball with some wins. Seattle and Oakland, great series coming up between them, but it's just too close. Just with everybody who's playing who, there's just not enough to get them in. So I'm actually going to be rooting for Blue Jays and Red Sox.
Wouldn't it be something special if these 3 teams from the same division finish with the same exact record? And then who knows what in the world that Major League Baseball does with that sort of tiebreaker with 1-game playoffs to determine who moves on to the wild card. But that would be amazing to see that. What a great division. Yeah, what a great division the AL East has been.
Absolutely. And, again, a lot of topics tonight, and we're going to stick with baseball. We can't talk baseball without talking about the St. Louis Cardinals 16-game winning streak. They're absolutely hot. Do you guys think they have a chance to go into San Francisco or Los Angeles and knock off the Giants or Dodgers, depending on who gets that first wild card spot, and win a 1-game playoff? And Al, don't jump. I'm going to let Brandon go first this time.
So once again, another great question. There's no doubting the Cardinals have been really hot recently, but I don't think they're going to do it, or I don't think they would do it. And the reason why is because I believe peaking too early in the season before you get into the postseason can have a negative effect on your run once you get to the playoffs. So you see these teams that come in winning on a winning streak, and it's just like they used all their juice, used all their mojo, and then they come in and fall flat in the playoffs. So I personally think that the teams that face a little adversity getting into the playoffs are the ones that, get their mettle and gel together and really push through. So unfortunately, I think that the St. Louis Cardinals have a great story going right now, but I think that once they run into either the Giants or the Dodgers, they're going to be running into a buzzsaw. What do you think, Al?
I do not agree with you, Brandon. They're on a 16-game winning streak. They are playing playoff baseball right now. They've had to fight to get that second playoff wild card spot in the National League locked up. Listen, they've got a 4 or 5 game lead on that second wild card spot. So they pretty much have it already locked up with 6 games left. I think they set up their pitching rotation the way they want to for that one game, play-in game for the wild card, and we'll see who they end up playing. Right? Is it going to be the Giants or the Dodgers? It certainly looks like it's going to be the Dodgers. Do the Dodgers try and line up their pitching rotation so it's Max Scherzer? Who knows? But in a one-game playoff, I absolutely think anybody can win it. And I have a feeling that the St. Louis Cardinals will be the wild card team and represent the National League as that wild card spot. I think they knock off the Dodgers or the Giants, whoever they play, which, again, we've talked about this in past episodes. That would be a little bit of a shame because you're going to probably be looking at a 105-win team, whether it be the Giants or Dodgers, that are unfortunately going to be bounced with one loss potentially here. So I disagree with you, Brandon. I think the Cardinals have an absolutely fantastic chance. Zach.
I wish I could disagree with both of you. I don't know what that would equal, like a tie. I don't know. I think what the Cardinals are doing is amazing. 16-game winning streak is absolutely awesome. Going into the playoffs, I kind of agree with Brandon. You go in with steam like that, it's hard to keep that up. And to go against a team, like you said, Al, with 105 wins, a one-game playoff. But to say that, I'm leaning towards, whether it's the Dodgers or Giants, that I think they would beat the Cardinals. That, being a fan of the NL Central and the teams there, all I've done is see the Cardinals win and create havoc and win games. So I think a one-game playoff, they would be the team that could pull it off. But my gut's telling me Dodgers or Giants would win that game. So that's what I'm going with. So Al, 2-1. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 4 we have tonight. We're going to go to the NHL. Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby are out to start the season for the Pittsburgh Penguins. How big of a loss is this? And will the Penguins be able to withstand the early season blow and compete for a playoff spot this spring? Al, what are your thoughts on the Pittsburgh Penguins, your second favorite hockey team?
Yeah, I love the Pittsburgh Penguins. Not right. And as we talk about hockey, we'll relate it back to baseball, right? How many teams have we seen fight for those last few playoff seeds in the NHL, and then they make it deep into the postseason? Heck, it just happened this past year with the Montreal Canadiens. So St. Louis Cardinals, I support you. Anyway, Pittsburgh Penguins. Zach, you'll probably I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. I think Malkin and Crosby are going to obviously be big loss to the Penguins to start the season. They still have a good team, great supporting cast. So if they can just kind of withstand the first month or two, however long both guys end up being out, then they can certainly contend and compete for a playoff spot this year. I think it's been 15 straight years. Zach, you probably know that number, but I don't want them to go to the playoffs, but I think they most certainly do have the potential to, if the rest of the team stays healthy and they gel well, I think they can withstand a month or two to start the season of those two being out. Brandon?
So I love to be positive, but at this point I can. I mean, the Penguins, obviously pretty big rival to the Detroit Red Wings here, but I can remember a lot of times where either Crosby carried the team while Malkin was out or Malkin carried the team while Crosby was out. I've never seen them or the team be able to tread water when both of them are out. And I think this team was in trouble even before Crosby went in for a surgery and all of that fun stuff, because they've got goaltending issues. And really, I mean, I just think that they're an aging core that was already in trouble before these guys were out. So these guys are definitely hugely important to the team. And with both of them being out, I think they get into a hole early and they just really can't dig themselves out. Zach, tell us about your hometown team.
Yeah, I mean, I love to be in, the eternal optimist, but there's a little bit of a cloud over the Pittsburgh Penguins in this scenario, the situation they got going on right now, at the PPG Paints Arena. I think, with Crosby and Malkin out, it's going to be hard to recover. even if they can hang in there and compete for the next month or two. Brandon, you said it, the aging core. I mean, you got Crosby and Malkin, then coming back. I don't know if they can come out and win games right away. I think they're gonna have to get their legs back. I think they're gonna have to, work a little bit harder. They're not the young hockey players they were 10 years ago. So I think it's going to be hard to overcome when they return. I'm rooting for them. I'd like to see them, play 500 hockey till they return and, they come back and the two-headed monster is flying around the rink again. But, there's a little bit of doubt in I think in all of Pittsburgh. So we'll just have to wait and see. So, gentlemen, going to college football, Notre Dame, Wisconsin. What are the takeaways from this matchup, Al?
You know what? It was a good game, right? I mean, the final score, 41-13. People, if you look at the box score, you're like, oh my gosh, it was a blowout. But the game was really, in my opinion, a lot closer than the score would indicate. And Wisconsin had the lead in the fourth quarter, believe it or not, 13-10. Before Notre Dame just decided to go crazy, right, and score 31 points in that fourth quarter. I know we'll touch on this probably a little bit in our next question. I don't think that Wisconsin is probably as good as we thought they were. I don't think the Big Ten is as good as maybe people thought they were 3 weeks ago before the season started. Notre Dame, I don't know that, they're finding ways to win early in the season. They're still undefeated. They're, a top 15 team, but I don't know. I thought it was a very well played game for 3 quarters, very tight. And then obviously it tilted massively towards Notre Dame, but I still don't think we know enough about both teams moving forward. I'm not convinced that Notre Dame is a top 5 team to end the season. And like I said, Wisconsin, we'll see what happens this week when they play an undefeated Michigan team, but Big Ten might not be as good as we originally thought. Brandon?
I'd agree with that. I think the Big Ten's actually shown to have a down year. I mean, we've seen Ohio State already lose a game. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this Michigan-Wisconsin matchup, because Wisconsin was in the game with Notre Dame. And something that is interesting is even after that game against Notre Dame, they still have the number 1 run defense in all of college football by a pretty wide margin. So I believe they held Notre Dame to 39 rushing yards or something of the sort. And so what they have there in terms of a run defense is amazing. But I just don't know what any of these teams are right now. I mean, you look around college football and normally there's a few staples that, you can identify a few teams and say, this team's this team's that. I feel like this year, we're looking around. We don't know what the Big Ten is. Clemson, we'll talk about them in a little bit, but it's just, we're in a strange place in college football, just, 4 weeks into the season. So I think that this upcoming weekend, Michigan-Wisconsin matchup is going to go a long way to tell us what we need to know about both teams. And I guess if you do, the related games metric or what have you, then that'll by virtue tell us what we need to know about Notre Dame as well. So we'll start to, as the season goes on, we'll start to piece together what all of these teams are made of and what the strengths and weaknesses truly look like against the opponents that they face week in and week out. Zach, did you catch the game? If so, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't have much else to say. I mean, you guys said it all with, I was surprised that Notre Dame won. I thought it was over at 13-10. So this is news to me that they won 41-13. No, seriously, I think you're both, absolutely correct. We got to see what happens with this Michigan-Wisconsin game and find out, what these teams really are. And I think this has been the biggest question mark, or college football has just had a big question mark on who the top teams are this year. And, I think that makes it a little bit more exciting. So we'll keep watching and see what happens. But moving on to other college games, Minnesota lost to Bowling Green. Michigan escapes and beats Rutgers. Michigan State survives and beats Nebraska in OT. And then Clemson loses its second game of the season to NC State in, I believe, double overtime. So, Al, what are your thoughts on some of these games?
Yeah, so a lot of interesting games here. So to start with the first one you mentioned, Zach, Minnesota losing to Bowling Green. Bowling Green, I don't think won a game last year. They're one of the worst teams in all of Division I college football. They went into Minnesota, 31.5-point underdogs. Not only did they cover that spread, they did it really easily and they won that game. So I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. PJ Fleck, listen, I read your book, buddy, that you wrote with John Gordon this summer. Great leadership book, but you're not rowing the boat right now. So you got to figure out what's going on over there. Michigan looked great and dominant in the first half against Rutgers, but they barely held on. And there were so many 3-and-outs offensively. They couldn't do anything. They didn't score a point in the second half. So not sure really what's going on there with Michigan State battling Nebraska, beating them in overtime. Kudos to Michigan State for coming back and battling hard and winning that game. We're going to find out more and more as the season continues to go on with Michigan State. Nebraska's a weird team I look at too. They hang with teams. They battle them hard. They just can't win some of these close games. And Clemson losing their second game. Think about this, guys. We're still in September and Clemson already has 2 losses. This is unheard of. Dabo Swinney probably has no clue what to do over there. Not used to losing. So I think them being ranked number 25 in the country is just a little bit of respect for them because they probably shouldn't even be ranked at this point. And then, overall, like we just mentioned earlier, the Big Ten, I just don't think they're as good as what we thought. So you got some big games coming up this week that I'm looking forward to. Michigan and Wisconsin will be a tough one. I don't think Michigan has won in Madison in quite some time, probably, before the iPhone was created or something crazy like that. Maybe we were all watching Saved by the Bell or something. It's been a while since they won over there. And we'll see. Another game I'm looking forward to is Iowa and Maryland. So we'll stick on the Big Ten theme. Again, Iowa, a top 5 team. How good are they? They struggled. They were trailing at halftime to Colorado State at home. Now they're going to go on the road to play Maryland, who's also undefeated. That could be shake out to be an interesting game as well. So we'll see what happens. Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to touch on it again. I just think that landscape of college football is kind of in flux right now. PJ Fleck, he was rumored to go to USC a couple weeks back, and now he's losing to, Bowling Green. It's like, what's going on? And, I would say that it pains me, but I am a Western Michigan graduate. So the way that he left there, sometimes karma finds a way of leveling things out. So Michigan, I'm worried about them a little bit just because the rushing game looks good. But what happens when they have to throw the ball? And we talked about it a little bit earlier. I alluded to it earlier. Wisconsin's going to turn them into a one-dimensional team. And Michigan's going to have to throw the ball down the field, push the ball downfield to have a chance in that game. And so I think that it's going to be a challenging game for Michigan. But on the other side of the ball, you've got Wisconsin, and they don't seem to be doing a ton on offense either. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that game. Now, Clemson, if they lost the next 4, I can't say I'd be totally upset. I think that there needed to be a shakeup in the college football playoff. And, Trevor Lawrence moves on, goes to the NFL, and now Clemson's struggling a little bit, which I didn't think they would struggle as much as they are now, but I'm not really too sad about it. I'd love to see some changing of the guard in the college football playoff. So in terms of, all of the other games in the Big Ten, I'm not sure what Iowa's going to be. Nebraska, they've laid an egg, and then they came out and battled a Michigan State team that looks to be gelling and playing well under new coach Mel Tucker. They're comprised of a ton of transfers. So maybe they're just taking a little while to gel, and maybe they're just hitting their stride too. So this college football season is going to be fun. There are so many storylines. And I think that last year being a different type of season is going to just carry over into this season, just to where there's not a roadmap, and there's not the, top 5 teams are going to wait until late November to lose. I think that we're going to see some of these teams get knocked off quickly, and we're going to see that top 4, top 5 turn over on a fairly regular basis this season. So I'm excited for it, though. I think that this is what college football needs. It needs a little new blood breathed into it, and So I'm really excited to see all these, top ranked teams get knocked down. Zach, tell us what you thought about the college football weekend.
Absolutely agree. I'd love to, I'd love to see the changes of the top five regularly. I think it makes for exciting football season. I didn't tune into too many games this past Saturday. I was actually at the Air Force game, watching them beat Florida Atlantic 31-7. Great game. I do recommend, if anyone is ever in the Colorado Springs area, check out Air Force Academy football. Great flyover, and mascot jumping out of a plane at 3,500 feet was pretty cool. So awesome game, great theatrics, and they make it a great event for everybody. So yeah, I was at the 31-7 Air Force beating FAU. So, gentlemen, going on to the NFL, Tom Brady loses to Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Are the Rams the team to beat in the NFC? And Al, what do you think?
The Rams are good. The Rams are a very good team. I think we realized that. I think we knew that. The Bucs, I'm still going to say, you know what? If they're healthy and everything, they're the defending champs. They're going to be right there, right? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with both teams moving forward. But the Rams are definitely going to be a team in the mix. To say they're, the team to beat, I don't know. I'm going to stick, like I said, I'm going to stick with the Bucs. Made them preseason. Obviously, we know how much I want Tom Brady to keep winning Super Bowls until he's 60. So, Tampa Bay is still the team to beat, but Matthew Stafford and the Rams have something special going on right now this year. And I know that probably makes Lions fans a little bit disappointed. Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a great matchup. And I don't think that the outcome of that game was indicative of what these teams are. So I agree with you in that respect, Al, but I disagree in the fact that, the Rams, they beat the Bucs. So technically right now they are the team to beat in the NFC. I just think that those are the two teams that are playing the best right now. You've got the Rams coming out playing great defense, and that offense is just on fire. I mean, it's Matthew Stafford's easily playing the best football of his career, which as a Lions fan is always fun to see. And then, Tom Brady, to your point, Al, I just think that team, how they got all of those guys to return and then added to that core and still did not go over the salary cap, I have no idea. It blows my mind. I think that with the new additions, once they hit their stride, it's going to be tough to beat either of these teams. But I think the Tampa Bay has another gear that they didn't quite hit in that game. So, but once again, just like we talked about with college football, I'm going to love seeing, as these teams gel, as these teams hit their stride and we get the best versions of these teams, what we get to see on the field on Sundays, Mondays, whenever they end up playing. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I think, the Rams are a good team. Stafford's playing great. Sean McVay, I think he has one of the most intriguing football minds, with his memory to recall, and just I think he's just a great football mind. So I don't know if they met in the playoffs, I'd have to go Bucs. I just that experience, Tom Brady. I agree. I think the Bucs can have another year. I think they're a team that will progressively get better. I don't know if the Rams can be that consistent down the road. So that's kind of what scares me. I think a Tom Brady team is only going to get better as the season goes on. They're only going to get more comfortable and more consistent. So as much as it pains me to say, the Bucs are still the team to beat, and Tom Brady's still the greatest quarterback ever to live. Al, you know how much it hurts to say that. All right. So sticking with the NFL, Aaron Rodgers comes out and performs well enough to get past the undefeated San Francisco 49ers. What an interesting game that was. And should we be questioning Aaron Rodgers' commitment to the Packers, Al?
All right. So, Zach, sometimes the truth hurts, and Tom Brady is the GOAT. So thanks for capping off that discussion there. Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I think not many people gave him much credit going into this game with San Francisco. They chalked it up as a loss in San Francisco. San Francisco playing pretty well to start the season at 2-0, and the Packers 1-1, with a win over the Detroit Football Lions, right? So, we shouldn't be questioning his commitment level to this team. Absolutely not. The offseason was the offseason. We know everything that happened right there. But in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers just wanted his voice to be heard, was getting frustrated because he felt like upper management ownership wasn't listening to him enough and wasn't bringing in some of the pieces that he probably wanted to get them over that hump and get them closer to another Super Bowl championship. So his commitment level is totally fine. He supports those guys in the locker room. He loves his teammates. He wants to win. He likes competing. You saw that joy in his face last night on that final drive and that game-winning field goal. So no, it's foolish to be questioning his commitment level to the Green Bay Packers and his teammates. Brandon?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong. And after that week 1 loss, I thought that Aaron Rodgers was just checked out. I really did. And, I thought that all of the offseason issues that they had were just going to carry over and be a cloud over this team. And wouldn't you know, I mean, they came out and beat the Lions. So then the question still remained because, the Lions are in year 1 of a rebuild again. And so they were going to come out and beat them regardless. But on a short week to go to San Francisco and then pull out a victory, now we're talking about something different. I mean, that's, we're talking about flying cross country, and he's having fun again. He had a post-game interview where he said, if I've got 37 seconds and no timeouts, who do you think I'm going to throw the ball to? Referring to his receiver in Devontae Adams. And the reporter gave that answer, and he said, yeah, I thought San Francisco would have figured that out. So he's clearly having fun again, and with his teammates. And I agree with you, Al. I think that, he is able to separate what's going on with upper management and what's going on with his players on the field. I think he does want to give his best version of himself. And there very could be a parting of the ways after this season. But I think that he wants to leave his best version of himself on that field so that when it does come time for him to move on, there's no question that the club is getting worse having him move on and not getting better or addition by subtraction. So, part of me is kind of pulling for him a little bit. It's just interesting to see because I didn't want Aaron Rodgers to ride out and, quit football and go host Jeopardy or anything else. I wanted to see the Aaron Rodgers that has made Lions fans' lives hell for the past 10 years or however long it's been. So, Zach, what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers?
I think he's just an interesting human being all around. And to question his commitment, I think, he reminds me of a Jay Cutler type personality where his quirkiness, his oddness, just people don't like, and they're going to find things wrong with it. But the guy loves football. He has fun. He has a sense of humor. And I think he's showing a little bit more personality, and sometimes that rubs some people the wrong way. I think the guy wants to win. He's fun to watch. He's a great quarterback. And, like you said, that post-game interview, it was a nice little shot at the 49ers, a little fun. But, can't believe he pulled it off with 37 seconds and no timeouts to take him in the field goal, range, and Crosby hitting it. That was pretty amazing. Didn't think it was going to happen. So, I don't think we should question Aaron Rodgers. I think just let Aaron be Aaron, and his personality is going to rub some people the wrong way. But let him be himself. Let him have fun. Let him play football. All right, sticking with the NFL, our last and final topic. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots this weekend. Who wins, and how bad does Brady and Belichick each want to beat one another? Who wants it more, Al?
Well, who do you think I'm going to say wants it more? Man, it's Tom Brady. Oh, I cannot wait for this game. We definitely saved the best topic for last. So 8:20 kickoff, prime time Sunday night, 8 o'clock. I'm going to the corner 7-Eleven right down the road from me. I'm getting a frozen Coke Slurpee. I'm bringing that back home. By 8:10, I'm popping the popcorn. By 8:20, I'm sitting on the couch ready, stuffing my face with popcorn and a Slurpee, watching this debacle. Tom Brady is going to put up 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. He is going to embarrass the New England Patriots, okay? He is angry. He is angry. The only reason he won the Super Bowl last year is because he was so pissed off at the New England Patriots. Think about that for a second. This man is pissed off and angry. He spent his entire career with New England Patriots, 18, 19 years, whatever it was, went to 9 Super Bowls, won 6 of them. 50% of the time, this man is playing for a championship in the championship game, and he's angry, just not happy. He didn't feel loved. He probably felt the same way Aaron Rodgers felt this offseason. He didn't think Bill Belichick, catered towards him, treated him like a 22-year-old rookie every single year. That just came out last week by Tom Brady's father and Tom Brady's trainer, Alex Guerrero or whatever his name is, right? So Tom Brady's pissed off. He's going to play pissed off, and I think it's going to actually be kind of comical. I think you're going to have an absolute beatdown. I'm going to say 45 to 10 Bucs. Brandon?
I completely disagree. No, I'm kidding. It's tough to do here. I think that the debate has always been, is it Belichick or is it Brady? That's the key cog in this dynasty. And I don't know that you're going to get an indicator in this game, because I think that Bill Belichick's just bringing a gun or a knife to a gunfight here. I think that Tampa Bay is far and away the superior team. And then you have a motivated Tom Brady on top of that. Like, I'm with you, Al. I mean, this is just going to be a slaughter. I think that at least 3 touchdown victory for Tampa Bay. I think they're just going to put the pedal to the metal, and I think they're just going to go. And yeah, Belichick's a defensive mind, but when your team is just out skilled by that much, I don't know, even the best defensive mind, how you're going to lock down Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski. And then if they get Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones in the mix, and they've got receivers coming off the bench that are phenomenal as well. And it's like, man, I mean, Tom Brady's just going to have a field day. And what I'm looking forward to, so you're looking forward to the game, I'm going to get a Slurpee, and I want to see Bill Belichick's press conference afterwards. Like I cannot wait to see. He's going to be an angry Bill, and it's going to be funny to watch. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think you've got Tom Brady motivated. I think you've got Bill Belichick with a team that's just, they're not ready to play against the Bucs. Let's call it what it is. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, because I think Tom Brady's going to be a lot of smiles, and Bill Belichick's going to be grumpy and on the sidelines just throwing stuff, and we're going to see some meltdowns. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the talent. I mean, the talent between the two teams is there's so much of a difference. I mean, the Bucs are just so much more talented, but if it's not a total beatdown, if the Bucs don't just crush the Patriots, it's going to be because Bill Belichick knows how to get pressure on Tom Brady and get under his skin. I just don't know if they have the talent to do that. And that's going to be what needs to happen for them to even keep the game close. But, I think it's going to be a beatdown as well. But, we'll see how good Bill Belichick actually is.
Yeah, listen, Bill Belichick is great. I don't want to take that away from him, but Zach, to your point, I don't think they've got enough. Brandon, you mentioned it. I don't think they have enough. And Brandon, you mentioned you want to see what Bill says in that press conference. I can tell you what Bill's going to say in that press conference. They play Houston the following week. He's going to say, on to Houston. We're on to Houston every
Houston
time.
should go much better for him.
You would think. So anyway, gentlemen, fantastic topics tonight. We had so much to talk about. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening to Hot Topic Tuesday. We hope you enjoyed all of the conversations we had tonight. We hope you continue to join us on Hot Topic Tuesday on Legal Leaders, and we hope you continue to tune in on Sundays for our leadership guest. Thank you.